Picture this. You walk into a perfectly tidy room. The floor looks smooth and clean, and then your foot catches on a big lump under the rug. You stumble, maybe even fall. Instead of anyone asking if you're okay, they scold you. Why'd you mess things up? Listen, the lump was already there. It was hidden, untouched. You just happened to be the one who revealed it. Today we're talking about what happens when families or friend groups or even workplaces bury hard truths, painful conflicts, and uncomfortable emotions. They expect you to walk right past like everyone else does, but ignoring it doesn't come naturally to you. And when you don't ignore it, everything blows up. And somehow, you're the one blamed. In this episode, we're going to talk about keeping yourself safe when you do trip on that lump. Are you ready? Let's go. What's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast, the podcast for late identified autistic adults who want real relationships without fake masks. Let's talk connection, clarity, and showing up as your authentic self. Having an experience where you trip over the rug or you reveal the truth can really be hurtful, especially if what was under that rug or what truth you revealed was something that actually was emotionally damaging to you. And not only did the revelation hurt you, but everyone's reaction to you also hurts. It's a damning place to be. Here's what I want you to really take away from that. If this happened to you, know that, one, you're not alone, because there's a whole analogy dedicated to it, right? Sweeping things under the rug, hiding truths, hiding shame, conflict, trauma, discomfort, hiding everything under the rug. There's a whole dynamic. So there's millions of people who've had this very same experience. The second thing that I really want to stress is that this isn't about you. The whole experience happened before you. It happened without you noticing or looking or being consulted. They just swept the stuff under the rug. They just didn't talk about it. And they didn't tell you that they weren't going to talk about it. They didn't talk about it. And if, let's just say that they did tell you not to talk about it, they didn't tell you why. If they did tell you why, they didn't give you a really good reason. Because you weren't meant to know. You weren't meant to understand. You were not supposed to care. You were not supposed to know. But there you go. Being observant, being feeling, discovering, even if it's by accident. You've tripped over the shame, the conflict, the trauma, the discomfort that everyone has swept under this rug for years upon years. And you loudly want to talk about it. Well, here's what I've noticed. All of that is not yours. It's not about you. And it's very difficult for many people to talk about their shame, their conflicts, their traumas, just little things that are uncomfortable to them. They just can't. They just don't know how. And with you or me coming up to say, hey, what's this? They're trying their damnedest to not talk about it because there's pain attached to it. There's hurt attached to it. And they have not processed it. They may not know how to process it. It may be so deep that they just don't know how to do it alone. And for me personally, I've discovered that there are people who have belief systems that say it is much better to have this under the rug because no one can help me get it out. I can't trust anybody with it. I can't do it. I won't. It's just better there. And if you try to disturb it, I'm going to fight you because it's better for me. It's not about you. And I don't want to dismiss the hurt that comes with discovering whatever it was and then being ostracized or being hurt by the people who put it there in the first place. I don't want to dismiss that. Your pain is real. But see, what often happens, and what happened to me, is that we go and we say, hey, why is this here? I don't like that this is here. If we just talk about it, maybe things would be better, because I don't like this here. Everyone has to deal with whatever they put underneath it. And these people may not be ready for it. So if you want to make yourself safe in this situation, it's really difficult to step back, but that is the key move, is to realize that it's not about you. The fact that they don't want to talk about it is not about you, right? And if you have a deep desire to understand and to know more, and you demand it, it's only going to make things so much worse. Because what often happens, and this is all from my personal experience, is that there's something there and it doesn't affect me emotionally as it does the other person. It just doesn't, because they hid it away for some reason. They don't want you to see it. And the exposure that you have of knowing this thing hurts them just because they didn't want anyone to see it. And they work so hard, and now you see it. And now you're demanding more of it when they didn't want you to see it in the first place. What happens is that you're not considering their feelings about why they put it underneath it there in the first place. You're not considering their feelings makes them want to lash out at you, makes them want to push back even further. And you may try to shame them. Why'd you put it under there? You can always talk to me. You might try to fight with them. I demand to know. That's conflict, further exacerbating the discomfort that they already have about the fact that you know in the first place. When you're dealing with these kind of situations, it is best not to make it about you. The fact that you have tripped over this experience, you've tripped over this rug, and you discovered this thing. The fact that everyone is angry and frustrated at you because now you know. The fact that people don't want you to speak up and they're mad because you're speaking. All of that hurts. But here's where I went wrong. I expected them to hear how I felt, value my feelings, and stop. They can't. They won't. I had to take that feeling of noticing whatever it was, tripping over it, having everybody mad at me, wanted to talk about it somewhere else. Anywhere else. Somewhere else. Anywhere else. A therapist saved my life. Therapy really saved my life. So what I'm recommending is going to therapy to process all the feelings that you have. Expecting your family members to hold space for you isn't going to work. Because, look, they've demonstrated the fact that they can't talk about hard things because of the lump under the rug. Right? They can't. They won't. And so if you're looking at them to understand why it's here, you won't get that information from them at that point in time. Maybe someday they'll go to therapy. Maybe someday they'll process their trauma. Maybe one day they'll come back and be able to do it, but not that time. And not with you demanding. Certainly not with you demanding. It just won't happen. In my own experience, that's what I discovered. And I'd just like to save you a bit of pain and frustration by going to heal yourself before trying to help somebody heal themselves so that they can talk to you so you can heal yourself with the trauma that happened with you discovering something that was under the rug and then having everybody being frustrated with you, being ostracized by your family, right? So that's my own personal experience with it. Don't make it about you. Go process your feelings somewhere else. As I got caught up in trying to change and manage and fix and adjust when I need to do all that stuff myself and just realize that it's not about me. They didn't put it underneath there because of me. there was something else going on with them and they need to process that. It's not my dirt to look underneath. Got it. Okay. So now that we do that, we go into these spaces where, and they're highly emotionally charged spaces like family members, because this is a dynamic that happens with family a whole lot, lump under the rug, but things you can't talk about with your family members. So you go back into a space, let's say you're going back for the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, or whatever holidays that you celebrate, birthdays, weekends, whatever it is, and you know that you want to talk about that thing. It's on your mind. It triggers you because you know about it and no one else is talking about it. So this is where you come in, you make a decision. And I know it gets hard. You make a decision whether or not you can handle being in that space, not talking about it. Because everything I just said about your desire to talk about it is going to make the situation worse. People are going to blow up and they're going to be angry. But then if you go into the space and you're upset about the fact that you want to talk about this thing and nobody does, then you're going to be angry and frustrated because you have to be in that space and mask. So what I've done is I've just been away. I've been away because I know I can't handle it. I can't handle not talking about the thing that makes me uncomfortable, especially if it's some family dynamics that don't feel good to you. You being in that space comes with the agreement that you understand that that's how things are going to be. Let me say that again. If you go into that space, you're not there to change anybody. You are there to accept and be okay with being in that space. Hard. Get it? Yes, hard. That's why people just stop talking to their family members. People just cut them off. I recommend actually that you create space. If you can't do that, if you can't go in a space like that, knowing that it's going to be tumultuous, knowing that you're going to do a lot of emotional lifting, then don't go to that space, because your desire to create change is just going to create more conflict. Got it? Got it. That's what worked for me. So if you were creating that space, I'd love to hear about how it's going for you. If you feel the same in your family dynamics, let me know. Shoot me an email at patternsofpossibility or patternsofpossibility@gmail.com, or get at me on LinkedIn, because I hang out on LinkedIn a lot. But the idea is that you have to go in with a calm, accepting presence. Calm, accepting presence. If you can't do that, then it's best for everybody to go away, like separate. And even with them reaching out to you saying, why don't you come back? You say, this is why. I just don't feel comfortable. Why? Well, I want to say that if you experience that from them, the why, you need to be here, guilt, shame, conflict, all that stuff, it's just more information for you to notice that that's how the space is going to be. So you don't have to explain to them. You don't have to explain or justify anything to them. You just create that space. Take care of yourself. When you heal up, other people around you will. So now let's talk about this in friendships and in family members. Friendships and at workplaces. Sometimes there are things that come up in one-on-one friendships or friend groups that people just don't want to talk about. And I treat it the same way as with family members, although it is less intense when it comes from family, or it's less intense with friends and coworkers as it is with family members, because family members, it's ingrained in you. It's kind of biological that you want to be known and understood and appreciated. You want that kind of closeness that you don't really care for at the workplace and you'd love to have with your friends, but it hasn't been drilled into you as it has been with your family members, right? So with friends, I treat it very similarly, in the sense that I want to talk about the thing if it involves us and our friendship. If there's something that's super personal, like trauma, that they don't want to talk about, that I've known about, I'm not going to try and pry at that. I'm not going to try and pry at that unless their actions and behaviors start to impact the way our friendship works. And then we need to have a conversation. I want to talk about what's going on. And it's from a caring perspective. It's like, hey, I'm here for you. I want to support you. I care about the things that are happening in your life. And I've noticed that you've been a little off. You've been a little distant. You've been not talking. Share with me and allow them space. I will help and create space for them so that they can open up and feel comfortable talking. Are you struggling to reach out without feeling awkward? Then I have a very, very special gift for you. It's called the 333 method, an easy way to reconnect without awkwardness. If you ever feel unsure about what to say, when to say it, or if it's too late to reach out, this will help. It's simple, it's clear, and it's made for people who overthink connection. There's no email required. Just grab it for free at patternsofpossibility.com. Click on resources and get your copy. Because at the end of the day, what we really want to do is to be the kind of friend that we want from other people. If you don't want people to pry with you, then don't pry with them. Just invite, open the space. If you have a burning desire to know the truth, this is how you get it. It's not by picking and prodding and poking and insisting and yelling and saying you must and you have to. It's really by creating space to allow them to open up. If they never want to talk to you about this and you have a burning desire to know, then you have to do a bit of self-reflection to understand what is it going to change about your relationship if you did know, or if you did continue to talk more and discover about it. Because if it's something that's really deep, that's for a therapist. And if you put yourself in the position where you're always taking care of their deep traumas and not hearing them on a day-to-day basis when that's what really makes the friendship, that's what really creates the relationship, is you sharing your joys, sharing small things, not just tackling and trauma bonding together, tackling that deep stuff, then what do you really want from the friend? What is really friendship to you? So those are things that I had to sit down and sit with myself at. And what I discovered is that, well, I didn't feel valuable if I wasn't able to help somebody. I just didn't. And why would anyone want to stay around with me and hear about what I do on a daily basis, what I eat, and what happened at work, how my day was, and my commute, what kind of music I listened to, what things that were lighting me up, what was I watching on Netflix or Hulu, or what kind of books was I reading, what things were I collecting, what games was I playing. I didn't think anybody wanted to hear about those things, so I never thought about bringing them up. But if I could just help them solve a big, uncomfortable trauma, or if I could help them somehow in their life in a way that they will never forget me, then I'll always be valuable and they'll always be my friend. That just never worked. And so that's just something to consider if you are a truth teller or you're a noticer of the deepest things. If they don't want to talk to you and it impacts you that much, then I would look at the kind of relationship that you want to have with them. Maybe it's not super close, because your close friends will talk about the deepest things. Your close friends are willing to handle those lumps under the rug. Okay, so let's talk about organizations really quick, because they can be tricky because they pay you. You get money from them, and you need money to survive in society by large. And so if you discover something that feels uncomfortable, something that you don't like, it can be hard to want to speak up. It can be hard for other people to want to speak up because you've noticed some discrimination, because you've noticed people are being treated unfairly, because you've noticed that the policies don't align. It's hard for you to want to speak up, even though you feel, oh, this is unjust. This is not fair. Putting your paycheck on the line, putting your livelihood on the line for something else that feels unfair usually outweighs the fact that you might want to talk about it. But if you are a person who has a deep desire to make change, I'm not saying that that's not impossible. What I've seen work is that you detach from the idea that you are going to be paid by them. You detach from that idea because that is a sense of power that they have over you. Your desire to see something change is a lot more powerful. If you have that desire, a lot of people will say, and I think romanticize this idea that you just need to rally people together. You can change things from the inside. I think that's true. You can. It's not simple and it's not easy. And it's a struggle to get someone to talk about that dirt that they swept under the rug because it's uncomfortable. And in most cases with organizations, it's going to cost them money, which frustrates them even more and makes you more of a target. We'll also be talking about this while a panel discussion at the Social Connection Summit, September 24th and September 25th. You don't want to miss this. The discussion is called "This Shouldn't Be Normal: Calling Out Everyday Harm at Work." We'll be talking about microaggressions, isolation, favoritism, tone policing. We've got a wonderful panel here for you. Career love coach, HR and DEI strategist is going to be talking about her lived experience as a Black woman who is also neurodivergent. We'll also be talking about workplace discrimination and how they show up for neurodivergent people and what to do about that, how to protect yourself. So you want to make sure you grab your complimentary no-cost ticket. We've got world-class speakers. We've got lots of surprises and, of course, some valuable giveaways. So grab your ticket at socialconnectionsummit.com. Go to socialconnectionsummit.com, grab your free ticket, and hear more about this from these amazing panelists. So what I want to say here is that it's not impossible to do. And having the right information and knowing how to go about it is a really key piece. You get to decide whether or not this is worth it enough for you to fight it on the inside. And then when you're outside of it, because eventually what happens is that you just can't help it. You're going to trip over the rug so many times, you're going to kick up enough dust. Or maybe it's the fact that you noticed in the first place. You know that there's something wrong here. And your nervous system just can't handle it and you can't function. You just can't be there. You're going to be out. But you don't want to leave it. You don't want to leave it in the sense that you know that it's there and you want the truth to be told because it was so harmful. But that makes you a target. It really does. So you have a decision to make because it's not a fair world. It's not all just. It's really about you and your own personal journey, your needs, wants, and desires. And if it's strong enough for you, you have enough conviction to see that truth of whatever they were hiding and want to talk about it so that everyone knows. You want to force them to also talk about it. And you know that comes with a tough fight. And you know that comes with no payment from them. And what I've discovered in any of these situations with your family, with your friends, with organizations, is that some separation must occur from your family for you to heal, because man, that had to be traumatic for you. And if you desire for them to listen to you, they can't. And it only hurts you even more if you're trying to get them to listen to you. For friends, it's an evaluation of how you want your friendship to be, what you want from them and what you're willing to give if they can't give you what you want from them, right? And it's the same with organizations. They pay you. They might pay you to be quiet. They might pay you to not notice the lump under the rug. Everybody else there is fine with it, but not you. The power move here is to notice that their desire to keep that lump, the desire for them not to share their truth, is not about you. The power lies in knowing what your truth is and being able to speak your truth. If this episode resonated with you, the best way to support the podcast is to rate and review it. Your words will help other late diagnosed autistic adults find this space to know that they're not alone. Just a few seconds from you can open up the door for someone else to feel seen. Hey, I appreciate you, and thanks for being here.